a lot of people were asking us how to determine your vocal range. Knowing this is extremely important to determine what is the best key for you to sing on and to avoid vocal damage and make your voice sound at its best. But I've experienced that when people talk about range, they immediately think about the different voices like baritone or tenor, soprano, mezzo soprano, bass, etc. And this conversation is so charged of different opinions that I understand why it is so confusing to people. And I would like to offer a simpler framework to be able to move forward. I believe that really what matters is to determine what is the lowest and the highest tone that you can sing on chest voice and what is the highest that you can sing on head voice, and then understanding where your bridge is located. So for that, we need to first define what are these three terms: chest voice, head voice, and the bridge. So let's start with chest voice. For me, chest voice is simply your speaking range. So if I analyze where I'm speaking, so if I am speaking here, it's a D3, right? So that's going to be the point of comfort for my voice, which is determined by the length and the width of my vocal cords, as well as the size of my mouth. So obviously that is going to be different from person to person. So if you keep singing lower or higher than your point of comfort, then you will definitely hit a limit, either up or down. For male singers, it's somewhere around A2 all the way down to an E flat 2. That is what I consider still normal. Everybody has a different opinion on this. This is based more like on my experience of working with my students and where do I see that they fall into. And then anything below that, it's what I would consider a bass singer, like somebody who enters that category, right? And then for women, is the average varies from G3 to C sharp 3. So anywhere from here all the way down here. And I put like in yellow here what's kind of like extraordinary for a female and for a male range. It's actually pretty cool to listen to somebody singing in a lower range than the average. So if somebody listening here is one of those people, I recommend training their voice in that part as well. So now let's talk about head voice. Head voice is this fluty sound that makes singing higher much easier, right? So it sounds like, sugar, yes please, won't you come and put it down on me? For some people, it is hard to kind of grasp the concept of head voice because we don't exercise it as much as we do with chest voice. Every time that we speak, we're exercising our chest voice. So just as in chest voice, head voice has a higher and a lower limit. And the average for male voices, they can hit somewhere around an E flat 5 to an A5. For female voices, it's going to be somewhere around a B5 all the way up to an F6. And like I said, this is based on the experience that I've had with my students, but this could be broader or it could be a little shorter. But definitely what I find extraordinary is when somebody's over those lines. And there's a third gear for singing called the whistle tone, but we're not going to be touching on this point today. It's a different coordination. Here's a note about head voice too. If you're able to reach lower tones than average, you probably also have a difficulty singing higher tones. So that means that if you can sing very low, probably you're not going to be able to sing very high, and the other way around. The third thing that is very important is talking about the bridge. So for me, the bridge is the area where your chest voice and your head voice sound much more alike. So if I was to sing this note, which is F sharp 4, and I sing it in head voice, and I sing it in chest voice, the sound is much more alike than if I sing, for instance, a C sharp 4. It's too low for me. And if I try singing chest voice, it sounds completely different. So this gives us an opportunity when you're crossing that area, then you can blend the two. And that's what we call mixed voice. Now, there's another concept that is important as well, which is belting. And belting is when we try to take our chest voice over our limits. For male singers, it's somewhere between E flat 4 and F sharp 4, and this is like the average really. I try to determine it as 4 notes, and this is how we have it in the software. We can set it up. We can help the student determine where that is. And then for the average female singer, it's going to be somewhere around that A, C sharp. The way that we're going to determine what's going to be the key of the song will depend on what is the highest note in the composition, right? So I'd like to jump to the software and show you guys what I mean by this. For me, Bruno Mars is super high. His bridge is almost like a female bridge, like around A or or A sharp, that's when he starts bridging. So if I'm singing Bruno Mars and I'm singing the chorus of When I Was Your Man, I should have bought you flowers and held your hand. That's super high for me because he's gonna hit up to an A4 as the highest note of his chest voice. So for me, I'll make sure to transpose the song so that G4 is the highest I will hit in chest voice. And by the way, this is in C major, so I'm gonna map this to C major so that we can see how it's going to be the change. When I am looking at the actual numbers, the relative pitches in this scale, I know that I go all the way up to a 6. But if I am trying to sing it, it would make much more sense if the highest note that I'm going to sing is still a 6, because it's relative, but now it's not going to be an A, but it's going to be a G4. Now, just to make it safe, during the bridge, he actually goes all the way to a 1. And that's the reason why I'm actually going to choose G as the key for my song. So instead of singing in the original key where he goes all the way up to C as a belt, but in my voice, it will just not stretch all the way up there. So I can just try to sing there and sound like a dying cat, or I can just rearrange everything and make it so that it's really comfortable for me. Also gonna be very flexible when I'm singing the song. So for that reason, I would choose to sing this song in G major. I hope that was helpful to explain how to choose keys and how to help somebody determine their vocal range. As for us as instructors, we try to determine what's going to be their lowest tone, their highest tone, and their bridge, and all the exercises that we're going to be giving our students are going to be based on this theory. Never trying to make them reach over what they can achieve. Obviously, we're trying to make them expand the range, but based on understanding where the bridge is, based on understanding where the high note is, at least currently, and then try to expand it very gradually to avoid vocal damage.